That's the good stuff right here. Hard, soft literature. Yeah. I mean, sort of, kind of. I tell you what, I'll check it out. You know, I'm not normally one to destroy books, but I'm just kind of big for it. Hi, folks. Fruit and Doggy here, doing another book discussion. Still got that annoying cough. But this time I'm talking about the Comatose Cat. And what you see here at the top, it says Church Choir Mysteries. And the tone of this book is considerably different than the one I talked about last time. This book is written by Sandy Dengler, about 240 pages, and was published in 2009. And it mentions that this is a Guideposts book. And I'm just going to read the general description of the book real fast. Join Gracie Parks, church choir member, caterer, and community sleuth, as she tries to find out why so many people and animals in Willow Bend are mysteriously falling ill. When her own beloved cat Gooseberry gets terribly sick, Gracie needs prayer as well as determination to get to the bottom of things. With the help of friends, she uncovers more than she expected. Before the mystery is solved, assumptions are made. Okay, that's exciting. That's an exciting thing to point out, is that assumptions were made. Friendship... Curse it, Goff. Friendships are strengthened, and the townsfolk of Willow Bend learn that progress is not necessarily a good thing. I don't know that they used the right word choice there, because progress, it usually is a good thing. Maybe, gosh darn it, excuse me, maybe development? I guess that has sort of the same connotation, though. I just find that a odd word choice. Pardon. But starting off with a positive, I think quite fittingly, the tone of the book, the dialogue, the characters, it's very positive. It's a very harmless style of tone. The main character does have a bit of an interaction with another younger male character and kind of describes them as possibly threatening, a little intimidating, but it doesn't really excuse me, but it's a fangless interaction. There's no real threat or danger in the book. I should point that out. Now, again, I don't think that's too terribly surprising based on church choir mysteries. That doesn't sound devastating and terrifying. And I will mention that there are animals that die, but there's no murder. This isn't a murder mystery. There's no excuse me. It's just not that style of book, and I imagine style of series at that. So, as far as someone who would enjoy mystery books, but would want to go with something that has more of a family-friendly nature, a lighter tone, that is comedic without having to make light of death. I've read quite a few mysteries of that nature, but there usually is a death involved, and excuse me, this would just be a different approach to that. And I can certainly understand why somebody would appreciate that. Excuse me. I think I just used the word appreciate twice in the same sentence, but all this stupid coughing is distracting me. That is my excuse. What I would point out, which I thought was a more prominent negative in the book, because again, the tone could be a little too cheesy, a little too corny. That could be a bit off-putting as a possible negative. Depends on what you're going for, what you enjoy. But Actually, what I found to be a larger negative or a bigger issue is that the book, it's, puts right on the cover, it's a mystery. And the story summary, talks about the mystery, but actually, throughout a solid middle part of the book, and again, this is just a visual demonstration, it's not an actual to scale page number summary, but it seemed like the mystery really took the back burner, that fell to the wayside after a certain point. It became more about the town dynamics, the relationships, dealing with people within the church and the community. Excuse me, gosh darn it. And I think it got a little bit misplaced, that instead of making the mystery the continual thread that was going throughout the entire story, that was the prominent excuse me, the prominent matter at the front, always there, even if the people in the community were still going about their business and the protagonist Gracie was dealing with their day-to-day life, that she was maybe following different leads or pursuing clues or rabbit trails, maybe asking questions, sleuthing, so on and so forth. But no, honestly, what seemed to happen to me was excuse me, the mystery got pushed to the wayside. The story followed a different trail. Excuse me. And then towards the end, it picks it back up, tells you more or less. Gosh darn it, I'm trying to make a point. I apologize so much for all the coughing. I think it hurts me more than it bothers you, though. But anyways, as it introduces the mystery, the issue, it drops a possible clue, some breadcrumbs here and there. Excuse me. But then, basically near the end, it brings one last trail breadcrumbs. Then it's like, okay, this is who did it. This is what happened. They're confronted. They're punished, and it's dealt with. And that's more or less it. It really kind of annoyed me when I finished the book, and it seemed like the entire point of the story just ended on a rabbit, or was just kind of brushed under the rug. And it's like, oh, it's already dealt with. Everything's been tied up in a neat little bow, and that's all. I kept thinking to myself, or I just thought to myself after I read it, I'm just, really? That's it? You kind of drop your mystery, then, hey, the book's about to end. Let's wrap this up. Let's get this done. It's all taken care of. Go about your day. So, I'd call this a bit of a mixed bag. Having read this, I don't really have any interest in going further into this series, seeing what else has been done by this author, or this. I mean, I don't know if this series is picked up by multiple authors. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it because after my experience here, I just lost all interest. If you're going to put out a story, if you're going to put out a mystery, don't drop your story point. I mean, I feel like that's so basic, it's hardly worth saying, but yeah, don't do that. Excuse me. I thought the title was cute, just a random comment, but that's why I was interested in the story in the first place. It had an interesting title. I thought this might be a little bit like other stories of this nature with the mysteries, where the feline, the cat, the person's pet, would be a little bit more central to the story. Not quite, finding the clues or It's like, oh my gosh, you found the murder weapon. You know, not necessarily like that, but that, you know, that might still tie together a little loose end here and there. But no, she just happened to have a cat. Again, I don't know how much that is relevant in other books by this author, but I don't know. I suppose my main problem with the book is that it just wasted potential, just didn't seem to do enough. So I really can't recommend it. And again, with my different categories, I would hate to say to burn this book. I don't think it's that bad, but I just don't think it's worth reading. Now, I mean, if you're really looking for a book to satisfy someone you know who is just super cheesy, who likes stuff that is completely what's the word? I guess I'll use the phrase goody two shoes. Completely straight edge, no kerfuffles, you know, just minor stakes. This could fill that little niche. But otherwise, that's probably about the only sort of person who would enjoy this. And there are definitely going to be people out there who are like that who would probably get a kick out of this, so I don't want to tarnish, you know, make fun of them or ridicule them. They just have a different opinion and taste and preference than I do, and that's perfectly fine. So, definitely not for me. If, you know, the way I'm describing the book doesn't really sound as much as a negative as it did to me, then by all means. And funny enough, I think, yeah, near the very end of the book, it's, I forgot to mention maybe earlier, 240 pages. It actually has a recipe for a potato salad. Excuse me. Just thought that was kind of funny. But anyways, that's gonna be all for now. Hope you enjoyed the review. If you're really keen on this sort of book, then by all means pick it up, find it somewhere. It's 2009. It's a little bit more recent, definitely compared to my last book. And that's just my style in books, though. I'm completely eclectic, old, new, whatever. But anyways, have a good one, folks.